Welcome to Momentum Monday, guys. Today's March 17, St. Patrick's Day. Howard, are you wearing anything green or?
I am not. I am exhausted. It's been 24 hours of flying. I'm going to go to bed Sunday night. I'm going to go to bed right after the show. It's good to be back in the country. Great week, huh? You know, every time I go to Tuscany, the market goes up.
Yeah, you should stay there, right?
You say that about every place I go. Yeah, I joke that the VIX is always 4 in Tuscany, so it's a great place to remember that the markets aren't all that important, especially to the Italians. Nor are many things important to the Italians other than pasta. Okay, so I'm going to let you drive right out of the gate here. Tell me what you're doing.
Let me share my screen real quick. And let's see. Are you able to see my screen?
No. Huh.
So, all right, let's try that again. Share.
Yep.
All right, now it's better.
All right, walk us through what we're seeing. Wow.
All right, so as you can see, deep buyers continue to be in charge, and that slight pullback that we saw 2 weeks ago, as we mentioned last week, was a good buying opportunity because while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 and the Russell 2000 were pulling back, there were quite a few momentum stocks that were just going sideways. And let me just give you a couple examples. For example, Zscaler, like the market was pulling back, Zscaler were just going sideways, you know, building a new base. And at the second the market tried to recover, and as you can see, Zscaler made new all-time high. And last week,
this is a security stock. Checkpoint stock I own in the sector.
There were so many other tech momentum stocks which showed a very similar setup, and this is why last week
big breakout on Shopify. I mean, it's not cheap, but I mean, it was between 180 and 100 for a year.
Yeah. So this is what we talked about, that they're usually corrections, like a shallow 3 to 5% correction. And during those types of correction, it's really important to pay attention to stocks showing relative strength, because those stocks are likely to outperform later. And we saw that in Shopify, in Team, in so many tech momentum stocks that just went sideways. They didn't sell off while the general market was pulling back. This is a big tell, guys, because those stocks are high momentum stocks. They're super volatile. Usually when the general market drops 3-4%, those stocks go down 10, 15, 20%. And the fact that they didn't go down was a major tell that, you know, this was just a consolidation and a buying opportunity in general. And we saw last week that we saw a major bounce in so many sectors. Even semiconductors started to, they broke out last week.
They're kind of leading. They're leading.
Yes. And in general, the semiconductor sector is the leading sector. It's not Dr. Copper anymore, because
I think this is the biggest tell right now, is this index. I mean, nobody's following them. Yet NVIDIA implode. Nobody talks about Intel. But between machine learning and it's, you know, so there's not
the Internet of Things.
A lot of famous names in here, but this index is leading.
Yeah, definitely on Friday they shined, and as you can see, let's take a look on the weekly time frame. This is a beautiful breakout. I mean, they're just building a new base, and it's really hard, and it doesn't make sense to be bearish when we see so much strength in the tech sector in general.
Yeah. Trying to look up what tickers are in the semiconductors. I'm just trying to see the holding snapshot.
You mean some of the holdings? Yeah. Well, I mean, we can check it out on your favorite.
Yeah, Broadcom. All right, so Broadcom broke out. Intel Xilinx, Intel's 14% of the index. Okay, so
let's see.
It's pretty broad.
Let's see some numbers.
But
so these are the SMH holdings ranked by 1 year performance. As you can see, we see AMD, XLNX. This one has been on the Momentum 50 list forever, I think for the past 50-60%.
Yeah.
CDNS, OLED. So which, let's see, we can click on next. These are the
laggards.
The best perform. No, these are the best. The top 8 for the best performance stocks for the past year. I think. Yeah. Well, I don't know why it's showing only 9 components. They're probably showing only the top holdings.
Huh. Okay.
I think.
Anyway, so semiconductors are leading, which is just good.
And it's not just the tech sector. I mean, starting to see some recovering and some strength in emerging markets. India, in particular, I mean, Brazil has been very strong in January and some of February, and now look at that breakout in India in the past 2 weeks. That's a significant accumulation. Look at that volume at the
Wow.
They're rising on an increasing volume.
Yeah.
And of course, I know your favorite Indian stock is the Priceline of India. They broke above their 200-day, and they're kind of trying to consolidate above it. I mean, it's a mess here. It needs time to.
Yeah.
From a swing trade perspective.
India in general still just in a big messy base. There's just much better ideas out there. Even the FANGs, even Netflix is looking like it may break out.
Yeah, absolutely. Netflix is, look at that beautiful base that
in fact, if you go to the daily,
it's looking beautiful on several.
Yeah, even Amazon seems like it may be starting to come out of its slump.
Even hourly. Okay, so absolutely, Amazon showed notable strength on Friday, and they're still below their 200-day, so they have some catching up to do. So, I mean,
law of large numbers. If you look at Mongo, they attacked Mongo, MDB, saying they were going to get into this business. The stock dropped. I know it's a blip, but
it was right here, I think.
Yeah, it dropped. I don't know, 20% on the news, and now the stock's doubled. So Amazon isn't as scary to other tech companies as it is to old line retailers.
Yeah, remember when Amazon was going to take Costco out of business?
Well, listen, they still pose a bigger threat to. They just can't go beat every tech stock they announce. They still listen. Americans love to shop. They love piling shit in their cars. Costco, Home Depot, AutoZone. Amazon's not beating them all. And we've seen that the stock's been marking time now for almost a year.
Yeah,
it's been almost over a year. So these aren't cheap, but the market, for whatever reason, wants to go higher. Let's go to the SL50 list and just see if we got anything.
Yes, real quick before that, I think the one big catalyst that is going on right now for the FANGs, for the Amazon and Apple, is that there are many money managers who are currently lagging the market. They're underperforming, and if they want to catch up, they want to put a lot of money to work in a short period of time. They're going to do it via the highly liquid FANGs. I think that's just my theory, but we'll see if it'll play out. But I think it's something to think about. I think the FANGs might catch up because of that reason. Who knows? Maybe. So this is the latest.
All right. So Splunk. So there's a lot. So Twilio, obviously 46 weeks on the list. And
so real quick, let me share a feature of the Momentum 50 list that maybe many people are not familiar with. I mean, stocks are ranked based on their setup score. So when we have a really strong stock that goes up 10-20% in a week or two and becomes extended, automatically it'll drop on the list. It's just the list showing you that it's kind of dangerous to chase it right now for a swing trade.
Got it.
And the list reflects that. Like, that's why you might see some names that you've never heard of, coming up in the top 10. But it just reflects the fact that in the last week, especially, we had the Momentum 50 this year, an amazing week. We had like 25 stocks went up more than 5%. 13 or 14 of the stocks went up more than 10%. So
wow. Yeah,
half of the stocks are extended. So, I mean, don't chase. Just look at there are plenty of other setups.
So Splunk has been on the list 15 weeks, but and Fiven. What's Five? I don't even know what Fiven is.
I think it's cybersecurity. We'll take a look in a second. All right, let's take a look at Splunk real quick. As you can see, I mean, they try to break out on earnings, then pull back to their rising 50-day, and they might be setting up again. If you're a swing trader, if it moves above 128.20, you can swing it here. And let's see, 5N, it's just setting up near all-time highs. It's a cloud-based software.
Yeah, it's customer support software. Huh. How big is this company? Huh.
It is a $3.2 billion company right now. They reported.
Can we?
Amazing.
I'll do a little work on that, but that's
amazing earnings, 64% earnings surprise.
Yeah, if that closes at an all-time high, that's interesting. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's like more than 1,000% since 2015. Let's take a look on a monthly.
All right, so it's not.
It's been
what a great IPO. Okay, congrats, Longs there. Two-part. Some of these enterprise stocks are just can't get my head around the valuations and the perpetual uptrends. Doesn't mean they're end any soon, but I'm just at this. I'm writing a few here, but man, it's hard to put new names on the list. Okay, let's go through a couple names on this list.
Yeah, but look how this stock never closed below its 200-day.
Everybody talks about Salesforce and Microsoft, but there's just a lot of $1 to $5 billion enterprise stocks that are cranking.
Would have done a lot better, and then this one, Exact Sciences, I think it's setting up again near all-time highs. It is highly shorted, 5 days of short interest, as you can see, and it's basically at all-time highs. This is a monthly perspective. Yeah,
it's one that we've talked about here a lot. I've owned on it. Okay. I want to look at a couple 8 to 80 names. I basically traveled for a week wearing Lulu. And I know I'm not all typical, but stock's kind of been under pressure. I'm just shocked because I tried their shoes, which I really liked. So I don't know. I'm surprised that it's not participating. Nike's kind of all the fashion stocks have been.
I think Nike reports earnings this week in 4 days, so that might steer some movement in the sector, in the athleisure.
Yeah, go back to Lulu for a minute. I'm just trying to think. It may just be too expensive and resting, but kind of been tempted to add a small position here. But again, technically, it just doesn't look like the right spot. But I mean, I'm super bullish on what I'm seeing out of the stores. The shoes have been really comfortable.
So the price has doubled since 2012, but earnings have also doubled. So it's earnings and price growth are just going hand in hand, basically.
Yeah, I think they're going to surprise some people. I do think international is going to be the key for Lulu. I saw 2 stores in Amsterdam. The town is not a big town, but in old Amsterdam, basically in the hardcore Amsterdam, there's 2 small Lulu stores opening. So I think serving the top 5-10% of people, and this leisure trend continues. My nephews are wearing the gear to their jobs. So that's on my 880 list, but I'm kind of eyeing that one. Security software, as we talked about, continues.
So it's an almost $19 billion company, and Nike's 136. So you can. Little has room.
Both markets are still growing though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the sack.
All right, then have a good night then, and we talk to you guys next Sunday or Monday.
All right, everybody, have a good week.
All right.